Man brings an exotic kitten from Czech Republic as a souvenir, later on discovers a startling truth about it. Landowners always have a problem with one or the other thing, and when it comes to pets, especially cats, which are always thought of to be as cursed, not all of them are fine with it. But here the landlady agreed to have one with one condition, that it won't ruin her furniture, only to find out the unexpected. Originally from Germany, the protagonist of the story was traveling to the Czech Republic on a business trip. It had been a while since he had left his home, so he considered it as an opportunity to take a break from his monotonous life through doing his job. A lot was happening in his life lately, and nothing was going right. Nevertheless, he loved his job, but due to his personal problems, he was not able to focus on his job. No matter how much money he earned, he lacked happiness in his life. Regardless of what was happening in his life, there was one thing that always had the potential to change his mood. And the thing was none other than cats and dogs. Every evening after work, he used to spend some time with them in the stray houses of the city. He always wanted to adopt one pet, but his previous landlords never allowed one, so his wish remained unfulfilled. But to have a pet is no kid's play. They require proper care and attention, and as he was going through some rough time, he had dropped the plan to adopt one. So while he was heading back from his business trip, instead of going to some souvenir shop, he decided to go to a pet shop, as now he was determined that he will adopt one pet without anticipating that this pet will change his life forever. As he entered the pet shop, he had thought it will take him a lifetime to decide which one is to be adopted, and as it was almost time to leave the exotic city, so he thought he'll take a quick look and won't be spending his quality time on it. But what he encountered at the pet shop had his heart at once. Being an animal lover, cats always fascinated him a lot. So when he entered the pet shop, he was in awe of this brown fur and black patched charismatic kitten, which had something so unusual about its appearance that he was spellbound for a moment. So without giving it a second thought, he pointed out towards the kitten. "You have an eye for good things, sir, I must say," said the pet shopkeeper, smirked while taking out the kitten. Was there something hidden behind his smile? But this, only time could tell. Though he had adopted the kitten, he was little apprehensive of the landlady's reaction to the kitten. He was always on good terms with her from the beginning and paid rent on time, still he wasn't sure how she would react. But no matter the situation, he was determined to take it with him, even if it meant changing his place again. Determined whatever may come, he landed in Germany with the kitten. He had ample of things going on inside him as to how he would convince her to take the kitten in as he entered the house. She greeted him with a smile as always and saw a box in his hands which wasn't like any other box. This had square-like openings for air to pass, so she looked at him, intrigued. He then put the box down and let the little bud out. At the sight of the exotic animal, she gave a mixed expression as she looked up at the man. It seemed like she was under the same spell as the man when he first saw the kitten in the pet shop. But the question remained, will she allow the pet in her house? He introduced the landlady to his kitten. She too was a little amazed and intrigued by the cat's unique color and those big and expressive eyes. She thought it might be some exotic breed typical to that place. He was expecting her to ask endless questions, but what he didn't see coming was that she agreed for the kitten only on one condition, and that was the pet won't ruin her furniture. The landlady might have agreed to have the kitten in her house, but she was doubtful. She had never seen such a breed of the cat before, and several questions popped into her mind. But then she was only concerned about the furniture more than anything. The man seemed a lot happier with the arrival of the pet, and it was quite visible with the change in his behavior. Previously, he used to be confined to his own room most of the time, but now he used to make time for the kitten every evening and began to greet the passers-by. He named the pet as Kitten. Soon the kitten had become everyone's favorite. As the days passed by, the kitten too started to grow at a faster pace, and within a short span of time, the animal had grown really massive and unlike any breed of the cat. This inculcated some doubts in the man's mind, but then thinking that it was some unique species, he brushed off his doubts. There was something fishy about the cat, and now the landlady was sure of it. The growth was indeed unbelievable and a matter of concern for her too. Though he had never attacked her in any injurious way, still she started to get annoyed by his habit of chewing something or the other very frequently. One fine day when she returned from the market, she found her sofa scratched from the edge, which made her extremely angry and anxious because this mischief was utterly untoward. The landlady had complained about Tickam's annoying habit of gnawing on several occasions, but the man never took any action and ignored her plea. There wasn't one day when she didn't notify the strange growth of its size or the teeth of the animal, but he used to ignore all because he thought that gnawing was normal while the animals grow. He brushed off her worries, saying it had no grounds, only to find out the truth that would shake the owner and the man from within. That day the water was over her head. She had several things running inside her mind. She thought what would happen when the cat grows to his full length, and the thought horrified her. So was her speculation correct, or was she worrying in vain? She knew this was the time she had to take matters into her hands, because the man was ignorant and was out on business trips most of the time and didn't really realize what danger this animal will put her as well as others in. So she decided to call for help. Wasting no time, she dialed the number of local animal rescue police, and they were at her place within few minutes. After the woman had described the animal, they were quite sure that it wasn't just another kitten. As the rescue team reached her place, they were reluctant to go inside the house as they were afraid that the unknown animal might attack them. So the landlady took a picture and showed it to them. It had a striking resemblance to a cat, but it wasn't a breed they had ever seen. What breed was it? Regardless of the types of equipment and safety they had their hearts in their mouth, but then it was their duty to protect people from danger, so how can they put their foot down? So they stepped in. They rushed to the vet's office with the animal to find out what was it in reality. And the doctor too, without wasting any time, went on to examine it, only to find out that what they believed to be some exotic breed was actually a baby puma. After the big revelation, they confiscated the baby puma against the owner's will. As the man had developed a deep bonding with the baby puma, he requested them not to take his pet. But how could they have left a carnivore among humans? Though he'd never been into the wild, he was dangerous to all the people living there. Though they had taken Tickham with them, the question that still remained was how such an animal could be so commonly sold in the pet shop disguised as some other animal. And how did they even buy it in the first place? Such animals like Tickham are separated from their mother as soon as they are a couple of weeks old. Tickham too went through the same and was separated just after 2 weeks of being born, and was sold to some regular pet shop just for the profit. It might be easy to legally purchase and sell exotic animals in the Czech Republic, but this was not the case in Germany, which has strict laws for the same. So will Tickham be abandoned and left to his own fate in some jungle? For rescuers, it was important to find a perfect home for Tickham because he couldn't be left with the owner as his size was growing day by day. Though harmless for now, it could attack his owner anytime. Tickham's original family will always be a mystery to the rescuers because he has been separated from his mother long back, and they were confused about where to leave him in the jungle. They knew it won't be safe to leave the cub just like that in the jungle to adapt to its natural habitat, as he might die due to vulnerability, so there has to be some way to protect this little bud. But how? In the midst of all, Tierart, an animal shelter in Western Germany, came forward to take in Tickham. They were known to provide shelter to many species of cats, especially with massive sizes just like Tickham was growing into. Unlike the man's house, Tierart was spacious, where the baby puma could grow in an environment that will be close to its habitat, if not exactly the same, and with other species of the cats, so Tickham could experience living in his own habitat. Situated in Rhineland-Palatinate state in Western Germany, Tierart, it covers an approximated area of 35 acres. It is an association of four paws in Tierart which was established in 1999 with a motive to provide shelter and facility for the big cats especially. Though established for big cats and currently providing habitation to 4 types of tigers, it also provides a rehabilitation program for wild cats, lynx, deer, foxes, martens, hedgehogs, squirrels, and badgers. The animals are brought here for rehabilitation with a motive to reintroduce them to the wild after they adapt to nature here. And around 80 animals are released into the wild when they get adapted to the environment, and the rest of them find a home in the Tierart itself. Tierart is open for the public to treat their eyes with the sight of these exotic animals, which otherwise wouldn't be possible on every weekend, as well as on holidays between April and at the end of November. Wondering if the man visits the Tierart. Although the man and Tickham had a short span of time with each other, but they had bonded well in that, and the changes that little Tickham had brought in him were remarkable. It's been a while since Tickham was admitted to rehab. It, however, hasn't stopped the man from paying visits. Tickham can be seen freely roaming around and exploring Tierart. Regardless of his breed, he is quite friendly with others. Whenever his owner pays him a visit, he jumps out with joy and mostly on him. Tickham is growing into a massive beast but still jumps on him no matter how hard he hits the ground and groans in pain. Kitten is not just growing, but is also enjoying his new environment. On several occasions, he becomes a little emotional when the man leaves after the visit, which is quite unusual to his behavior. Soon he will be transferred to his real habitat, which isn't the fate of every cub. He was lucky to be found by the man, but what about the rest who are still facing the tragedy of being separated from their family? We can just wish people will understand the concept of live and let live. One day or otherwise, we know nature has its own way of teaching the human race.